Donald Trump and his lawyers are pulling the classic abuser line. She allowed herself to be abused. Look at how she was dressed. Maybe that's why she was raped. This is the equivalent of what Donald Trump is now arguing. Donald Trump, through his lawyers, now say that the court clerk who has been receiving death threats and violent threats, quote, allowed herself to be exposed to abuse. How? Well, she works in a courthouse, as if she has any control over the cases that come before that court. This is wild stuff. This is disgusting. Here's a Newsweek article explaining it. The court clerk in Trump's fraud trial exposed herself to vile threats because of her partisan politics and by allowing herself to be photographed in public. This is what Trump's lawyers are arguing in court filings. Here's what's going on. A court security officer told an appellate court that he transcribed 275 pages of death threats and abusive phone calls left for two people, Judge Arthur Engoron and Engoron's law clerk, Allison Greenfield. Now, you will remember that Trump supporters have been targeting Allison Greenfield because Trump targeted Allison Greenfield, saying this is Chuck Schumer's girlfriend and she's from a Democratic family and all this different stuff. This led to endless death threats, violent threats against her. And the argument that Trump's lawyers are making is she has only herself to blame because she is being voluntarily photographed. Look at this. In their filing Monday, Trump's attorneys said Greenfield allowed herself to be voluntarily photographed, videotaped, and identified by name in national and international media, despite the prior existence of purported security concerns. She didn't cover her face when a person with a camera showed up. So she is allowing herself to be abused, This is the equivalent of the rape victim was dressed provocatively, victim blaming that we hear so much. And by the way, how is any of it voluntary? By working in the courthouse in plain view? Well, that's her job. Should she be also wearing a sheet covering herself while in the courthouse or something along those lines? Now, MAGA logic is this sort of thing. She invited, they could go further. They could go, should women even be working? I mean, really, this is her fault at the end of the day. To be clear, they haven't said that. But that would be like the next step in this complete and total insanity. Making an official court filing that argues the victim is responsible for the endless threats because she put herself in a position to be working in this court. She didn't wear a mask anytime there was a camera around as she was arriving at or leaving the courthouse. At the end of the day, it is just her fault. We have not yet gotten a ruling on this, but I hope that no serious judge falls for that absurd argument. The number of data breaches we see is growing every year, up 41% from 2021 to 2022. And the likelihood of your data getting breached is constantly rising. Hundreds of commercial databases and people searching sites that hold your personal information. They can have name, social security number, login credentials, home address, location history, internet history, a whole bunch more. And you don't even know that it is happening. But our sponsor, Incogni, is the app and website that will take care of this for you. You create an account, you give them the right to go to work for you, you sit back, and Incogni has the data broker sites remove your personal information from their databases. Incogni keeps you updated on the status of everything. They handle the objections that can come up. This is often the reason that people get robocalls, because their information is on one of these sites that Incogni will take you off of. Scammers will use the info to commit fraud against you. So Incogni simplifies everything, gets the information taken down, and you get some peace of mind. The first 100 people to use the code PACMAN will get 60% off when you go to incogni.com/PACMAN. That's incogni.com/PACMAN. Use code PACMAN for 60% off. The info is in the podcast notes.